Picture this. It's 2015. You're at a sold-out Taylor Swift stadium concert, 60,000 people. And in the middle of her show, she stops, brings out a rapper from Paterson, New Jersey, and 60,000 people lose their minds singing along to Trap Queen. That rapper had been making music for less than 2 years. He had just gotten his first ever record deal. His debut single hadn't even had a proper release. It just went viral on its own. And in 12 months, he went from handing out CDs at a mall to performing in stadiums next to the biggest pop star in the world. His name was Fetty Wap, and that moment, that was the peak. Because 6 years later, the FBI walked up to that same man at the Rolling Loud Festival in New York, one of the biggest rap shows in the country, and arrested him on federal drug trafficking charges: cocaine, heroin, fentanyl, crack.
Were motivations to allegedly get involved in the drug trade. He was ready to perform last night in Citi Field at Rolling Loud, but his set never happened. The FBI grabbed him before he hit the stage. He's been in federal custody ever since.
A multi-million-dollar criminal operation spanning 2 states. And now, in 2026, Fetty Wap is out, fresh. And the question everybody is asking is the same one nobody can answer with certainty. Is it too late? Or is this actually just the beginning of chapter 2? To understand how Fetty Wap fell the way he did, you have to start at the very beginning. Because most people don't know just how hard his foundation actually was. Willie Maxwell Jr. was born in Paterson, New Jersey, one of the most violent cities in the entire state. But before he ever had to deal with the streets, he was already fighting something much harder to see. Fetty was born with glaucoma. By the time he was 6 months old, he needed eye reconstruction surgery.
Something new, I was born with glaucoma, and I lost the eye at 6 months. And I got reconstructive surgery when I was 12. Okay. And I just stopped wearing the prosthesis because I didn't want to look like everybody else.
Okay. Doctors saved his right eye. His left eye, gone, completely blind. For years, Fetty wore a prosthetic eye to fit in, to look like everyone else. But at 12 years old, he made a decision that quietly became the blueprint for everything that came after. He took it out and never put it back. I didn't want to look like everybody else. That refusal to hide, that decision to be exactly who he was, no apology, that became the core of his entire identity as an artist. And it was smart, even if it wasn't calculated. Because when pictures started spreading online and people assumed he'd been shot in the eye, he let the rumors breathe, let the mystique build.
I never got shot in my eye. Basically, it was a prosthesis and pictures was getting viral, so I just let it build up. It wasn't nothing.
He understood the power of a story before he ever had a hit record. But mystique doesn't pay the bills in Paterson. So Fetty did what most kids around him did. He went to the streets. By 10th grade, he dropped out of school entirely. I felt like I'd rather get money than an education. All we knew was drug dealing, getting ran down by police, and how much we're going to smoke today. His nickname came directly from that life. Fetty means money, and he was always making it. Music didn't even register as a real option for Fetty until 2013. That was the year a friend heard him freestyle and told him to keep going. He named himself after Gucci Mane's nickname, Goo-Wop.
I mean, it come from Gucci, man. Free Gucci, man.
So you are a Gucci Man fan. I heard about that.
Big Gucci Man fan.
Started pressing up CDs, and with his day one friend, Monty, built a movement from nothing. Remy Boys, 1738, no label, no budget, just 2 guys from Paterson physically handing their music to people, face to face. That personal connection, the fact that he looked people in the eye and gave them his music, that's what built the initial loyalty. These weren't just fans. These were people who felt like they personally knew him before he was famous. In 2014, Fetty uploaded a song called Trap Queen as an independent release. And for months, nothing happened. It just sat there. But then slowly something started moving. Streams crept up, then millions. Then it hit radio. Then it hit the Billboard charts. All the way to number 2. 25 consecutive weeks in the top 10. Fetty Wap went from an unknown in New Jersey to a name everybody knew, seemingly overnight. He signed a $1.3 million deal with 300 Entertainment. He was on Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon. His debut single scored 2 Grammy nominations for his first official song ever. And then the hits kept coming. 679 reached number 4. My Way reached number 7 and got a Drake remix.
All I gotta do is put my mind to this shit.
Goddamn.
By the end of 2015, Fetty Wap became the first artist in history to have 4 songs simultaneously in the top 10 of Billboard's Hot Rap Songs, beating records held by Lil Wayne and Eminem. In 1 year, his self-titled debut album dropped and hit #1, moving 129,000 units in his first week. His songs weren't just rap hits. They were crossover smashes on pop radio, R&B stations, everywhere. Trap Queen was literally inescapable. And then Taylor Swift invited him on stage at her Seattle Stadium show. 60,000 people singing his hook back at him. It was the kind of moment that defines a career. Though, and I have to say this, there does seem to be a pattern with Taylor Swift collab moments and careers falling off right after. Ice Spice anyone? We'll call it the Taylor Swift curse and keep it moving. At his peak, Fetty claimed he was clearing $100,000 every single day.
I know for a fact I was clearing $100,000 every day. Now, the day I woke up and I only made like $40,000, I'm like,
At one point, he looked at his bank account and saw $22 million sitting there.
The most I saw in my account was 22.
Like 22,
Yeah.
like 2.22 million.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
He was 24 years old, from Paterson, with one eye, no industry connections, no major co-sign from the start, just a CD he made himself, and a song that the internet decided to fall in love with. It was one of the greatest underdog stories rap had ever seen, and it was about to fall apart in the most painful way possible. Here's the thing about Fetty's success that made it uniquely dangerous. It happened so fast that he never had time to learn how to manage it. Most artists get a slow build. They figure out finances, management, and business over time. Fetty went from the mall to the stadium in under 2 years. He never got the training wheels. And then there was the loyalty. Fetty was genuinely committed to bringing everybody with him. Monty, the whole 1738 family, people he grew up with in Paterson who had never seen that kind of money. He was paying for apartments in LA, Miami, Atlanta, 4 separate apartments just for himself in Paterson. At the peak, Fetty claims he was financing 42 different homes. The loyalty that made him beloved was draining him. And while the money was going out, the music wasn't doing what it used to. His crossover fan base, the people who made Trap Queen a pop anthem, they wanted more of that. Fetty kept releasing mixtapes, but they weren't feeding that audience. By 2021, when he finally dropped his long-awaited second album, The Butterfly Effect, 6 years had passed since his debut. The world had completely moved on. His first album hit #1. The second didn't chart at all. When you look at that arc, it is genuinely one of the steepest fall-offs in modern rap history.
Fetty Wap under arrest on federal drug charges.
With the music money drying up and the lifestyle expenses still piling on, Fetty made a decision that a lot of people from his background can't understand. Even if most of us wish he hadn't made it, he went back to what he knew. Things back in Paterson were already complicated. In 2017, a shootout involving Fetty left 3 people wounded, including a promoter who allegedly snatched his chain. And in 2020, his brother Twan Maxwell was killed in Paterson. Fetty posted about it publicly, and what he wrote revealed just how much guilt he was carrying. "I failed you, bro. I'm sorry. I love you, little bro. I really thought I could get you out before I ever had to make a post like this." That grief, that guilt, that financial pressure, it all pushed him deeper into the streets than even his fans knew. In October 2021, Fetty was scheduled to perform at Rolling Loud, New York. Instead, the FBI was waiting for him. They arrested him on the spot and revealed what they'd been building: a federal drug trafficking case involving cocaine, fentanyl, crack, and heroin, distributed across New York and New Jersey as part of a multi-million-dollar criminal enterprise. This wasn't a misdemeanor. This wasn't a minor possession charge. The feds were involved. Fetty was looking at a potential life sentence. The arrest shook the industry because Fetty was never positioned as a hardened street rapper. Trap Queen was a pop song. People sang it at proms. They heard it at weddings. And this entire time, the man behind it had been running a narcotics operation that the feds spent years building a case against. Fetty knew the score. Fighting the federal government with their evidence already stacked is a near impossible task. In August 2022, he stood up in court and pleaded guilty to conspiracy to distribute. "I hurt my community, people who look up to me, my family, and myself. I'm truly sorry for the pain I caused." The prosecutors argued for a longer sentence, claiming his music videos glamorized the very trafficking he'd been convicted of. The judge was direct. "Despite your background and all you overcame, you threw it all away." Fetty Wap was sentenced to 6 years in federal prison in Minnesota. For most people in music, that sentence is a career-ending moment. The public moves on, the streaming numbers fade, the culture forgets. And when you come out, if you come out, the world looks completely different from the one you left. But on January 8th, 2026, Fetty walked out early. 3 years served of a 6-year sentence. And the conversation started immediately. What struck people right away about Fetty's return was the clarity. He wasn't coming out loud on social media, trying to reclaim his rap throne immediately. He came out focused. Right now, my focus is on giving back, supporting at-risk young children by expanding access to education, early tech skills, and vision care for kids. Vision care, from a man who was born partially blind and spent his whole life turning that obstacle into an identity. That detail alone says something about how much this time away changed him. And he took real accountability. No deflection, no excuses.
If I gotta man up and take responsibility for the shit that I did to get me in this position, I'm gonna do.
But the most significant part of his return isn't the attitude, it's the alliance. Curtis Jackson, 50 Cent. While Fetty was locked up,
Fetty did a lot for me. From day one, it was like, whatever you need, just holler at me. And I'm like, all right. And then it was like, where this money going? I'm like, what? I ain't used to that. I'm used to it's always the other way around. He answered the phone. He didn't shy up all the way down to the time I'm about to come home. How you getting home? As far as financial and mental help, he was probably there the biggest.
50 didn't just send a message. He was actively in Fetty's corner, checking on him, giving him advice, asking where the money was going, helping him plan his exit. And 50 Cent's message to Fetty was simple and direct. Don't waste time, get back to work. If you know anything about 50 Cent's history in this industry, the way he rebuilt his own reputation after getting shot 9 times, after his label drama, after the bankruptcy, you know that when 50 says he's got somebody, that means something real. Here's the honest truth about Fetty Wap's chances of a real comeback. The music industry in 2026 is completely different from 2015. The streaming landscape has changed. The attention economy has changed. The artists that were coming up when Fetty was dominating are now the veterans. A decade is a long time. But here is what also cannot be ignored. Trap Queen was not a gimmick. It was a genuine, undeniable, era-defining record. People still know every word. That kind of cultural imprint doesn't just disappear. And Fetty is coming back lighter. No dead weight, no entourage of 42 houses to fund, no desperation driving him back toward the streets. For maybe the first time in his adult life, he gets to make decisions without the pressure of an entire neighborhood depending on him. With 50 Cent in his corner, sharper instincts, and a story that the whole world has been watching. The ingredients are there. Whether he can actually execute, that's the part only Fetty can answer. This is my last chance. However that sounds to people. If you're in this industry, you know what that means. He knows exactly what's at stake. The question is whether that's enough. From a kid born partially blind in one of New Jersey's toughest cities, to a one-of-a-kind artist who shattered Billboard records in his very first year, to federal prison, to walking out in 2026 with 50 Cent in his corner and something to prove. Whatever you think about Fetty Wap, this is one of the most real, most complicated, most genuinely human stories in all of hip-hop. Now I want to hear from you. Drop a comment right now. Do you think Fetty Wap can genuinely make a comeback in 2026? Or has the industry moved too far past him? Real talk only. I read every comment and I'll be replying in the first hour this drops. If this video gave you the full picture on Fetty's story, hit that like button. It genuinely helps this reach people who haven't heard about his return yet. And if you're new here, subscribe. We cover the real stories behind the biggest names in hip hop every single week. The next video is already in production. You don't want to miss it.